Billy Crystal is a comedy legend known for his short wit, impeccable timing, and unforgettable performances. From his stand-up profession to his time on Saturday Night Live and starring roles in movies like When Harry Met Sally, his ability to craft humor is unequaled. But one in all his most memorable roles almost never existed within the manner audiences now adore it. In The Princess Bride, Crystal performed Miracle Max, a grumpy old healer tasked with reviving the commonly dead Wesley. While his function turned into already scripted to be funny, Crystal's natural intuition for improv took it to any other degree, to the point in which the complete set was in stitches. One apparently minor addition, a simple line about a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, completely modified his person, cementing Miracle Max as an icon of comedic cinema, the birth of an iconic character. When Billy Crystal changed into solid as Miracle Max, the role became already written to be humorous, but no person may want to have expected the transformation that could arise once Crystal were given his arms on it. Director Rob Reiner, himself a longtime fan of improv comedy, gave Crystal a rare freedom on set, the chance to throw out the script and pass absolutely off the cuff. It was a formidable choice and one that could include challenges, but the C's end result proved to be one of the funniest moments inside the movie. Crystal, a skilled stand-up comic with an in-depth history of improv, straight away brought his own flair to the individual. One of the biggest modifications he made turned into in the appearance of Miracle Max. Rather than honestly taking path from the script and makeup group, Crystal gave targeted instructions to his makeup artist, Peter Montagna. He wanted Miracle Max to seem like a mixture among baseball supervisor Casey Stengel and the very own grandmother. The result changed into a person who felt immediately lived in, a crotchety vintage man with a New York-inflected medieval sensibility. Billy Crystals have an impact on extended far beyond look. His comedic instincts led him to expand the persona of Miracle Max into something greater, eccentric, and active than firstly scripted. He infused his strains with a one-of-a-kind rhythm and almost musical transport that made each quip unpredictable. The individual's sarcasm, exasperation, and deeply non-public grudge in opposition to the king's stinking son all took shape via Crystal's improvisation. His overall performance became so fully found out that the Forged and team immediately knew that they'd something unique. Even in rehearsals, his advert-libbed quips had each person in stitches, placing the tone for what would grow to be one of the maximum difficult but profitable scenes to shoot inside the whole film. A scene that took 3 days to film. The scene in query became imagined to be a fairly short one. Miracle Max, reluctant in the beginning, agrees to assist convey Wesley again to Lifestyles. His grumbling banter together with his wife, performed through Carol Keene, turned into already written to be amusing, but once Crystal commenced riffing, it became not possible to incorporate the hilarity. Reiner, knowing his own tendency to snort loudly, had to physically remove himself from the set because his outbursts have been ruining takes. One of the movie's maximum dramatic actors, Mandy Patinkin, became the only Who needed to do Who played Inigo Montoya. Later found out that he suffered his handiest harm on set, all through the filming of this scene, not from a sword fight or a stunt, but from keeping back laughter so intensely that he bruised a rib. The biggest task wasn't getting Crystal to be funny, it became getting through the scene without breaking down in laughter. Crystal delivered line after line of medieval-flavored jokes, a lot of them absolutely unplanned and every funnier than the closing. The sound branch was forced to systematically dispose of team contributors from the set, as almost all of us was giggling or outright laughing at Crystal's overall performance. Even after clearing the set, keeping composure proved nearly impossible. Cary Elwes, who played Wesley, became intended to remain immobile through the scene, but he saved breaking individual because of Crystal's relentless barrage of jokes. Eventually, they had to replace him with a rubber dummy in a few pictures due to the fact he in reality couldn't preserve his breath without laughing. Adding to the chaos, Crystal's man or woman become completely destroyed. Carol Kane played off Crystal's improvisation seamlessly, escalating the scene's hilarity. Her exaggerating, nagging, and deadpan transport provided the perfect foil for Crystal's fast fireplace jokes, making their on-display screen chemistry even more electric-powered. The end result became pure comedic gold, even though at the price of limitless ruin takes. The manufacturing crew expected that this single scene took almost 30 hours of work, of the longest shoots for any 5-minute sequence within the movie. The 3 words that changed everything. Of all of the jokes that Crystal made up instantaneous, one line particularly became mythical. When discussing the importance of proper love, Miracle Max utters the now well-known line, "Sonny, genuine love is the best issue in the global besides for a nice MLT mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, in which the mutton is fine and lean." It was a completely improvised line, one that wasn't inside the script, and no one saw coming. The absurdity of the declaration, combined with Crystal's best delivery, made it an instant classic. The Shaggy Dog story became so surprising that it derailed filming for hours because the cast and team struggled to comprise their laughter. The unmarried edition completely redefined Miracle Max's person. Instead of simply being a grumpy old apothecary, he had become something plenty extra layered. A guy whose mind ought to wander in bizarre instructions at any given moment, making him extra human and infinitely extra enjoyable. The line became the scene into a honestly iconic one, making sure that Miracle Max might be remembered long after the credits rolled. In hindsight, it is dazzling how a lot of effect a single line could have. The MLT comic story multiplied the humor inside the scene, making Max's eccentricity even greater plausible. It also added a completely unique signature to his man or woman, something bizarrely unique that only a person like Miracle Max might say. Fans have, for the reason, that latched on to this moment, frequently quoting it as one of the most cherished lines from the film. Had Crystal now not improvised that moment, Miracle Max might have been humorous, however no longer legendary. This offhand comic story cemented his place in popular culture, proving that once in a while the pleasant moments in movie come from permitting actors to comply with their comedic instincts. The aftermath. While the final cut of The Princess Bride, most effective, includes a couple of minutes of Miracle Max's screen time, what audiences don't see is simply how a lot footage had to be scrapped. So, a whole lot of what Crystal improvised was so humorous that entire takes had to be thrown out due to the fact no one should maintain a face boo. Cary Elwes later wrote in his ebook about the making of the movie that Crystal by no means delivered the same line twice. Every take changed into special, each joke sparkling, and that made it not possible for his fellow actors to anticipate what he'd say subsequent. The result became one of the most high-priced scenes inside the film, absolutely due to the amount of movie wasted on uncontrollable laughter. The MLT line become, simply, certainly, one of many jokes that had the team in stitches. Crystal riffed endlessly, coming up with new jokes approximately miracle paintings, ridiculous medicinal drug, and ridiculous therapies that by no means made it into the very last cut. It got to the point where the manufacturing group needed to find creative methods to shoot across the laughter, simply to salvage usable photos, that this misplaced footage might be launched. While a few outtakes have surfaced over the years, a good deal of Crystal's paintings remains unseen, a hidden gem of comedy that exists most effective in the reminiscence of those fortunate enough to be on set that day. Billy Crystal's comedic influence on Hollywood. Billy's comedic genius, of course, extends far beyond The Princess Bride. His work as a stand-up comedian, actor, and creator has motivated generations of performers. From his groundbreaking performances on SNL to hosting the Academy Awards more than one instances, Crystal has been a fixture in Hollywood's comedic landscape. The Princess Bride has always been a loved traditional, but the individual of Miracle Max has taken on an existence of its personal over time. Fans hold to rejoice Billy Crystal's performance through reenactments, memes, and convention panels where cast individuals reminisce, approximately the chaos on set. And his iconic traces have grown to be some of the maximum quoted in pop culture. Whether it is the famous Have Fun Storming the Castle or the legendary MLT Funny Story, the man or woman remains an enduring spotlight of the movie. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite line in Princess Bride? Let us realize within the remarks section under